Like my old friends always says, I'm gonna be late for my own funeral. But I'm late for a good reason. Maybe not for you, but yes, for us. Today we're gonna be talking about 5 body language myths that you should avoid and forget about it. But you know what? The devil is better when it's in the company with the little devil. Hi, my love. How you doing?
Hi, great. So excited about this.
So I have the heater, I have a feet heater, and I have cover in my legs, and you are wearing a blouse. It's not fair.
Because you know me, for me, it's when I say cold here, we are talking about 22 degrees
Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit. No,
So yeah,
no,
it's like
it's
60.
the
You
other one.
uh, uh Celsius. You're Celsius.
Celsius. I
So
use
it's
Celsius.
around 60 Celsius. In my case, when in Celsius, we are on the 10. Fahrenheit, we're on the 20s. So we are freezing to death.
See, so what is cold for me, I think it's not cold for you. So it's about dictionary.
Okay, so we're gonna put this. What myth you want to debunk today? Let's put it on the chat. We're going to start with the ones that we like the most. What about that?
Can I start with the one? With one?
Ooh, sorry, gonna kill me. Sorry,
But
gonna kill me.
okay, guys, there's kind of formula that it says that 70% of our communication, it's body language.
Oh, I understand we're going to start with the numbers. Now, okay,
And
let's go for it.
yes, and you know what? Because this came to my head because I'm doing the uni, and we had a class, and the teacher said about that, and I was like, wait a minute.
Really? One of the teachers talk about the
Yes, and
93%?
and and when I start like talking about that and telling what I know, and he said, "Well, yes, it was this was for a, a
Eh,
specific thing."
It
So
only to clarify is for people who are on an established relationship that have feeling involved, but not for people they don't know each other, neither for a people from a third part to assess a situation happening between others that you're not involved and you don't know what's going on.
that's my point. So now I'm coming here because I want you to put this out there because I love the way you explain it. So that's why I'm putting the first question. I'm the one doing the first question,
Okay,
but
good for you.
I want you to go with that because I think it's a big misconception about this.
Do you know what is the problem with myth? Is that there is another case that we're going to be talking about the number three, and I know that is going to be the one who's going to get people chopping our head. And I, this point of my life, neither of us doing this for other people like us or not. If we would do that, we wouldn't doing these lives. The point is, the police is taking it, human resource is taking it, sales reps are taking it, people in relationships, in dates, and doctors, even nurses are accused of people to lying because of the false prophet. It's driving me crazy how many people says 3 ways to know if somebody's lying. It's not that simple. So let's talk about the myth about the 93% of your communication is body language. Meridian at the end of the 60s was doing certain studies in psychology, and he want to determine, again, the 50s, 60s, and 70s were the best years to what we know today as a human behavior. We need to remember that body language wasn't a study for the last 100 years. The oldest of all the channels is face reading profiler. You agree to disagree? We're expert on that. We had been on the cover of Chicago Tribune, Psychology Today, because we are the top expert on the world. Like it or not, people knows us for that. But we know too about elicitation, statement analysis. We know about body language, micro expression, way more broad. So with this says, what happened with Marianne says he was testing. So he called a group of people that he knows. There wasn't a real study, no white paper, and called it to a room and says, I need you to assess that situation and tell me what you think. And for an argument of two people, they know each other, they says, well, they're mad with each other. They don't like each other. They're arguing. The body language says that there's a disagreement. But let me tell you, try to go to Italy, try to go to Rome. That is the most difficult. Or try to go to Calabria, or try to go to the south of Italy, where you don't know if they're going to chop your head. Even to ask for a coffee, people is aggressive in their demeanor, as they're not mad with you. So what happened with that is, if you have emotions involved with that person, that emotions, when they exchange, can think or understand that it's between the two involved. But what happened when actually your emotions are the only, and you're reacting to my emotions? If I'm pissed off today, I've been wiring since 4 o'clock in the morning. It's only 12:30 and I'm running late, and we're working all weekend. We have a project, so we're going to need to work in all weekend. I'm wired. So probably everybody who encounter with me going to think that I'm mad. I'm not mad with them. I'm wired. So I'm under stress. When you don't sleep because the kids are sick, your meetings are not the same way. So
Nope.
you cannot iterate a relationship between two or many people only because one of them initiated. We talked yesterday. It doesn't take 30 minutes to assess a communication. 7 seconds, how you set the conversation. And I see you licking your lips. I know you want to talk.
No, yeah, and you know what? When you set those kind of things in people's mind, the first thing that people is going to think when they have a talk with someone else is thinking about body language. So, and you are missing all the context of the conversation, and you are missing the real points.
As a hostel negotiator coach, 99.9% you never see the face of the person that you are negotiating with. Actually, I did a live and we put it on YouTube. I need to remember to put the part number 2 about that. I asked one person one question. This person talked for 45 seconds, and I give this person a devolution about profiling him, how he think, how he process information, how he sell, and how to negotiate for 6 minutes. I never saw the face until I need to give the devolution, because I want to see the person face, because some people get so froze that they get express on the face, but they don't talk. So I need to see the face for that. But my analysis came from the words he used, the tone, and more important, the words that you avoid to use sometimes are more important. That's how they caught the Una Bomber for what he didn't say on the manifesto.
Yeah, and that's my point. When you said that, and when you said that only 7% it's the words that you use, it's like you are missing the gold here.
You're missing the boat. So let's understand. Your body is important. And remember,
Yes.
women are 82% more accurate reading body language than men, 42% only men. So if you learn and train with the right way, the right people, you always can conquer better. Nobody is born to be a doctor. They born with the intent to be a doctor. But doesn't mean that you can go and do surgical thing with people. Why body language need to be different? You cannot read a book and go and read people. And another thing is, you need to understand that women use 14 to 16% of the brain to make a resolution. Men used 4 to 6. There's nothing wrong, depending on the situation and how you need to evaluate the situation, but that make women more accurate. And women are better to read the neutral. If nothing is going on, nothing is going on the room. So what this says, pay attention to the body language and reply to an attitude or aptitude. The content and context, how the first person initiate the conversation, and who the reply to, the opposite part has done the questions. Questions are more important than the answers. Remember, the tone of a conversation is set on the first 7 seconds, not 30 minutes of the conversation. Love?
No, yeah. And you know what? Another thing that I think is useful is to pay attention and to confirm what you are seeing.
Confirmation bias?
Yes.
Tell me about. Okay, what you don't know, guys, is Elva's the daughter that I never had. This year, Elva, as a surprise, she did her master in behavioral economics. She's about to receive the thesis, presenting the thesis that is actually your thesis is going to be done faster than mine. It's crazy. I finished a year ago. But with this says, she has been going on the bias. So why this is one of the myth, a myth in body language are confirmation bias. What is act in our brain that we tend to confirm things that we only believe on it?
Because when we have an idea in our head, we are going to look for everything that confirm what we think. And we are going to avoid the things that are not accurate or are not aligned with the things that we are thinking. So that put you in a place that you are going, just if, for example, you want to know if your partner is lying to you. You have that in your head, and you know that body language is going to be the detonator of knowing if that person is lying to you. So you are going to put that in your head, and you are going to confirm every single sign that you see in the body language of that person to says, oh no, you are lying to me.
You're going to use everything through to you to only confirm the things that you want to confirm. If you go into a movie thinking you're not going to like the movie, guess what?
Everything.
You're not going to like the movie.
And you know what? It's funny because sometimes, now that you're saying that, because I remember that I have that experience with this movie. It's called Agent 00, Agente 007.
Yeah, Agent 007.
The new one. And
James Bond.
And I didn't like it because I never liked that movie. And I remember that I went to the movies and I watched it, and I found every single thing, even the clothes of the people that they were using. I said, no, you see, that is why I didn't like it. I never liked this. So everything,
confirmation bias.
Yes, everything that, and even though I remember saying to my husband, you see, the universe is telling me that I didn't like, that I shouldn't come to see this movie, because everything confirmed that I didn't like it. So I look for
talking about liking and confirmation bias. It's not a myth that we have, but people ask, is that I cannot manipulate you to think things that I want. Is called propaganda, PR, or advertisement. That is going to be the last show of the year. We're going to put all the myths and crazy things that you think they're not going to be manipulated, and how manipulated work and different aspects of life, and crazy things about behavior you don't know is going to be next week. So one is that I can make you confess and says whatever I want if you give me 45 minutes in a room, white room with white light and hissy noise. So I can convince you. In 2011, we love this study. Ella and I, we have seen all the replication. In 2011, they grabbed a group of people in the University of Michigan, they put it in a room, and they fed them with false information. They let them go home. A week later, they call them back and they says, everything that we told you is a lie. What do you think if the majority see these things recorded? The people says after they were confronted with the reality, they were manipulated to things are not real. And I remember when I give you the result, you was like, what the heck, Susan, you're crazy. Like, no, here's the study, let's go over. People was looking only to things to confirm what they believe is true, because people don't want to realize, they don't want to confront the fact they can be manipulated. So they spend more time fighting, I'm right, you're wrong, what you told me is right, than the fact that, hey, you know what, you catch me. Let me know, show me how you catch me, how you convince me, how you manipulate me. No, people is going to do everything possible. So that is another myth. I cannot convince you to do things you don't want to. That's how I convince Elva to do lives with me.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah. So what are the heuristics of biases that you think there are involved? And we don't need to name it as what is the bias, but what are the things on personality wise that are involved and make you believe whatever I want you to eat?
You know what is one of the things that I think, it's like you said, you don't want to be wrong. You don't want to lose credibility, right? So loss aversion, it's worse to lose something than to gain something. 20% of the people are more afraid to losing than winning. So for me, it's one of the things, because even though the social norms, for example, how you are going to be your
perceived by others.
So those kind of things for me are key to having this?
Well, we did an article, then I show that the way you dress, and it actually, most people say, that's how you dress. Like, yeah, that's how I dress. I love to dress. That was on the beginning of September and Labor Day, I think so, and a party on the beach on Labor Day. And I remember people come to me and initiate conversation for the way I was dressed, for the way I was perceived. Machiavelli says, people don't know that it's coming from Machiavelli, present yourself as one you want to be perceived, not as you are. And get around with the people you want to be seen as, and not the person you are. So with this says, we manipulate others when in dating sites and the media. The media is the biggest manipulator for all. Do you really think that everybody's in TikTok and in Instagram have the life they have? Do you know how many people has been debunked talking about myth, about being on the media, not having the life they have, and all the handbags and things they have are counterfeit?
Yes, and you know what? I think those kind of things, the perception of what you wanted to project to others, it's one thing that rule a lot of things.
Talking about rules, can we talk about the number 3? Can we talk about number 3?
That is my, because I was about to ask you about that. Number 3. What about the number 3? What is what people think number 3 is?
Okay, let's put it this way. It was a experiment, was not even a study. At least Meridian was doing a study university-wise. This was a testing. They grabbed people, they put it on the room, and I asked the people to lie. A certain majority of the people, they use things on, like when they ask what time they need to describe a situation, and most of the people use the number 3 and 3:30 to lie about the story. That is one of the myths. Actually, it has a folklore myth. That's how they call it. Because we went through all the study and says, Elba, what if we are wrong and this is real, that the number 3 is for liars? Guess what? It's not. It's a folklore myth. The brain tend to use the number 3. Now, the problem is there are cases on the police, pop psychology, and social media where they exaggerated, and people was initially labeled as guilty because they used the number 3. Brain tend to take shortcuts. Okay, so we have system 1, that is Homer Simpson, 95% of our decisions. System 2, Einstein. You never put Einstein to change a light bulb. If you ask me how many things I did today, I'm going to use 1 is too small, 2 is uneven and uncomfortable for the brain, and number 3 is the number, the balance. If you look in advertisement, you look on offers, they always offer you 3 things. They offer you, I'm going to give an example, the newspaper. The newspaper this. If you buy the newspaper in paper, it's going to cost you $9.95. If you buy the online version, it's going to cost you $9.95. But if you buy both versions, are going to cost you $14.99. Is the decoy effect is what advertisement use all the time to convince you. 3 options. The maximum options that the brain can manage without getting cognitive overload is 5.
That's 5.
So number 3 is not for liars. The worst part, again, a lot of people in training and coaching in this aspect are saying, if somebody's using the number 3 in a statement when a conversation are lying, please, you don't understand the consequences to strain those myth, folklore myth. I was not going to be attacking anyone in this market, but I start Googling by yourself how many people says the number 3 is for liars. Please pay attention, because somebody who doesn't make the effort to recognize there is wrong. I study with a person who says the number 3 is for liars, and I doubt it. And when I confront it, it was no way that the person can defend the situation. Okay, I studied with the person, and Elva studied too when amino acids appeared. He's the father of statement analysis, came to the United States in 1987. He was a polygraph interrogator for the military Israeli government and the military Israeli military. He came to the United States to learn, and a lot of people like us studied with him. But a lot of people started with him and they did their own deviation. We study anonymous letters with Aminoan. I take Aminoan classes like 17 times. He's one of my mentors. Elva took, she graduated, Aminoan talk about her in the class and like how you can be so brilliant. So what I'm saying is we have learned by the best. Number 3 is not a liar. It's a shortcut of your brain. Elva?
No, and you know what? Let's put it in this way. I'm going to put something here, but because I think it's a good example. When you we are experts in face reading. So when you have the eyebrows, you have certain types of eyebrows. But like mine that are straight, I need bullet points. What happened with a person that it needs bullet points? If you give me 10 bullet points, you lost me. You need to give me 3 bullet points, maximum 5, but 3, if like you said, Susan, if you give me 2, my brain is going to start fighting. And believe me, I don't know what to do.
Actually, I'm going to give you something. Wait. I have it here.
What?
Now that I have you, I can use it.
No, but that's something that, and for example, you have that person like me having the straight eyebrows that is going like a line, we need bullet points.
Mm-hmm.
So if we need 3, and we talk in that way too, when we talk, we mention things in 3.
To understand how important is for the brain avoiding cognitive overloading, the reason we have shorts in Facebook and on the media is a shortcut for overloaded. Act as the same way as the number 3. The reason we use 3 bullet point in presentation, perfectly done. I missed that point. Chapeau, congratulations. The reason that we have meetings, the ideal meeting, the reason we do this between 25 and 30 minutes is for the brand of concentration. More than 30 minutes is too much, and our podcast is too much if you're not doing something else. So with this says, our brain tend to do those shortcuts. Remember, cognitive overload. We receive so much information, the brain tend to synthesize. Now, it says the idea, okay, I'm going to repeat. The reason I have a second monitor is to read textual so I don't make any mistakes. The idea has been repeated in live sporting talks and crime conference presentations where body language and deception experts mention that liar maybe gravitate to the number 3 when describe time gap and sequences. How many things we have? You have kids, the 3 Stooges, the 3 Little Pigs.
That's my point. Even how do you say, the Trinity?
Yeah, the Trinity. Okay, there's something that is in Europe, and I find out why I have so much hair in my face. When I put my makeup, my brush is losing hair. So it's not my cats, it's my brush. So in Latin America and in Europe, we have something called the Trinity, Los Tres Reyes Magos. The Trinity is coming on January 6th after Christmas, and it's supposed to be the three kings coming to bring an offer to the new Trinity, of the nativity of the new Jesus Christ. I'm not Catholic, but I love the story why the Trinity. And there are 3. And so it's in the name of the Father. It's 3.
Father,
I don't want to do it again because I'm not Catholic. I don't want to offend anyone. But if you start thinking, the majority of the things we have in 3 options. Where are you going to go to? What do you want to have for dinner? Pasta, pizza, or stay home? We use 3.
The colors.
Number
Susan,
3.
The colors. The primary colors.
Red, green, and blue. Well, for me, the only primary color is black. So
no, I know, but going with this, the point is, like, we tend to group things because it's better to our brain to process the information. And the best way to do it is, like we said, 3, maximum 5. Even when with 5, people tend to get confused. And when you say 5, they're like, oh, but there's too many options.
Yesterday, we have a discovery call with a new system that we use, and says every time the guy says something, say, give me 3 bullet points of the explanation you give. And I saw Elva laughing. Give me 3 bullet points of the explanation. Elva and I, we don't have too much patience when long explanation. Give me 3 bullet points. And we need to meet with someone that we know is going to talk to us. Says, give me 3, 5 bullet points the max. If you cannot synthesize this idea in 5 bullet points, it's not going to work. And I have another one. In the the rule of 3 shows that people find group of 3 more complete, memorable, and satisfying than the 2 or 4. This is science. This is proof. So not attacking anyone. Anyone have the right to do their own business. But if you're studying or listen to someone who got any of this meat, please review. You need to doubt about anyone. Me, personally, Elva, the neighbor, up, down, doubt about everyone, and reiterate. There's certain things that they're not studies because this science is too new, and certain things we don't have enough information because not everything that it make it to the studies, and only the successful studies usually are published. But get more than a myth, more than a folklore myth with that. Elva?
Yes, I think, you know what? It's something that I said to my daughters, because now everything it's out there. Now you have videos, you have shorts, you have reels about everything. And when they ask me questions about some things that they doubted, and I said, you know what? Don't believe on me. Just go and look and research and see and start comparing things, because you cannot just rely on the things that you are seeing out there. You need to have your own mind, your critical thinking.
We have
sorry, but I'm going to take my coffee that my girls bring me.
So. Oh, there's one. Yeah. John, thank you very much. You always bring amazing questions. Some of these myths appear to come from studies done in artificial environment. The stakes for being caught lying are low. What an example of a good study that avoid that, plus what the most surprising items you thought was likely a myth that turned out to have some truth behind it. Yeah. Replication bias, that's something that we see. Replication bias, what is happening is, and I want to be clear, because we studied this in the uni and we talk about that with an IA scientist. When you are in the university, the stakes are different than when you're on the street. Some things like, on the university, they pay you either with a sandwich or either with money or either with credit. So what happened with that is you're predisposed. You know that you don't lose anything beside a sandwich. They're going to pay you anyway. But the environment that you have, when you take it to the street, where the ambience, the smell, the people participating is going to influence in what you're doing. So one thing is lying in studies. And I want to clarify, because some people says, oh, the study is wrong. Like, no, it's not replicable to the same result they have on the study. And another one is lying about the data result and the database used for those studies. So the people who lie, I think they should erase the tenure, the PhD, I don't care what title you have, it be erased. But the replication situation, we don't need to be so easy to size. What we need to do, I think the best mix, and that's the reason I love how you and I, Elva, have been taught and trained, is because we use the uni and we use the street smart to understand how these work. Elva, in the meantime, then I get bourbon.
Yes, you know what, there's the thing, when you are doing studies, you have a controlled environment, right? And you put all the variations, and you set those variations. Maybe it can be 2 or 3 things that can be different. But when you go to the street, there's a lot of things that can be different.
Yeah. So again, replication, like you says, really well says, John. I love your question. Try to get your lunch more often at this time. Is again, doubt about everything. Now, doubting. Let's talk about baseline and eyes. You want to take that? If you look to the left or look to the right, you want to take that one, or you want me to take it? Or you decide. You're in charge today, entire.
You know what? I have been listening about this, how the baseline and how important is to set how that people put themselves in front of a normal in a casual conversation. How they act, that is the best baseline, because you are not triggering nothing. It's just a conversation like X and Y.
Whether what they
So that is how you can get the baseline of a person. Now, when you put the gaze, people is looking up, down, right. That is another thing, because, for example, I'm going to give you this so you can continue. What if I'm lying to you, but I'm seeing you? What do you think?
Oh, if the liars look at you more or less when you're lying, when they're lying. Mm-hmm. Okay, John, you are on the crowd. What do you think? People look at you more when they lie to you or less? But anybody at home, if you're watching this after, there is a myth that the people who lie to you, they don't look you. You see what happened? But I touch my face all the time because I do this with my cat.
No, this, okay. Let's put a thing here. Every time, there's a lot of things that when you are lying that you can do. But if you see
touch your face, you're lying. Like you can see why I always touch my face, because I have
you understand the context where she's living, what she was doing, and she's touching the nose and talking to you. It's like, no, Susan, that is a lie. No, that is not a lie.
That is my cat, and I kissing my cats all the time. So with this says, she's right. Touching your face has nothing to do with lying or not. If you don't get everything has right or wrong based on the context. And for example, I have a problem in my neck, so you're going to see me pacify my neck too often. So have content and context. If you have cat hair or the women have makeup, they can be touching the face. Now, going back to the liars look at you more or less when they give you a lie. Elba, wait. I have something more for you. Bring it. I'm going to be playing like I'm a kid in a adult body.
Yes, I know. They look at you. Why? Because they need to see if you believe of what they are saying. So if
you're eating the shit.
Yes.
I
want to be polite, you know. But no,
she's the polite one.
They need to prove that you are eating the shit that they are saying. So they tend to. I say it. See, yeah.
You used S word. You have been with me too long, love. It's going to be 8 years in January?
Yeah, 8.
God, Laura, I have ruined you so long. Last one. Which one you want to use as the last one? And we're going to do a recap because I have a meeting in 4 minutes.
I don't know.
Okay, let's do a recap. Okay, crossing arms. You're such a bitch.
You know what? Because I like this one. Because the way that you put it, when you cross your arms, and Susan, I saw her doing that. And when she's crossing their arms, it's something else happening inside her brain. So it's not because she's not paying attention to you. It's something else. And that's why I want you to put it out there, because it's something that it's real. And even though when you are paying attention to someone, look your body. I tend to cross my arms. But there is a reason, and I want you to put it out there.
A, I have big boobs. B, the majority of the women don't use the right bra when the condition is extremely cold today on the studio. I have heating in my feet. I have the hair condition, the heating. I have a pad in my legs, and even though I'm cold, so I'm gonna I did that majority of the time. I was looking at you because I was kind of giving you a space to talk because I'm really intense. So I was giving you a space to talk. So if somebody says something and after that, there are at least 3 clusters. Number 3 cluster. Crossing the arm, the expression on the face, and pulling apart. Now that can be that the person is close to the option of the idea. But if you give the person the prize and they cross the arm and they start looking around and moving the eyes, what they doing is thinking, because there are 2 times when you have your left brain and right brain connected. Elva and I were genetically doing it because we're both dyslexic.
Mhm.
And the second time is when you cross your extremities. So that's when your two brains, and every decision requires Homer Simpson and Albert Einstein. One of them is going to be winning, but both need to be part of the equation. So when that happened, it's we couldn't cross the arms.
Mhm. Yes. And what happened? Okay, let's put it just as the final tip. If you're in a meeting with a client and you
I
are
know
trying
what
to
you're gonna
convince to
I
ask,
know.
because I love that, and you're trying to convince that person that buy your product, and that person cross their arms, what happened?
If I give the price and the person is going around with the eyes and I don't see any micro expression that can determine the rest, stop selling. Shut up. Please shut up. Stop selling, because the person is making a decision. And one of the biggest problems with sales reps, not offend guys, I train with you all the time, is you don't know when to stop selling. Now, if the person show any animosity or any negative to the process, then says, before you make the decision, maybe it's any question, we have different dictionaries. Maybe it's something I was trying to rush and give explanation. I get too excited. Is anything that I can clarify to help you to make the right decision? That's when you need to sell, but without selling.
Yes.
And selling without selling, I have in 1 minute another. That's what happened in long weekends. When you guys rest is when we work the most, because we were in crisis. You don't know. We have 5 companies. Okay, some of them you don't know what we do. So, crossing arms is true or a lie that it means that a person is close. It's a lie. It's a lie that is a lie. Second of all, how you move your eyes without the baseline. People who have dyslexia, like us too, we tend to look up because we need to visualize. And actually, I know they're more kinetic. Or we didn't talk about visual, kinetic, and auditory. We need to talk about that and that. There's so many myths. So set the baseline, talk about the weather, things are simple, and have conversation. Number 3, brain tend to take shortcut, cognitive overload. What we do is to make simplify things. Sometimes your brain just want easy, simple, and not overwhelming. The 93% of your communication is body language. Your body says a lot about you, but not everything. Put the words, the environment, the noise. If never, ever, ever, please, if I need to ask you for something, and I'm sure, Elva, you're going to go to the same, never, ever, Chicago Mafia in the house. Hey, Lenny, how you doing? Never, ever read a body language or a situation by a picture. Please, from the bottom of my heart, that is the most danger. You can ruin relationships that are really important to you, or relationships that because don't hurt somebody else just because you don't know what you're doing or you have been learning from the wrong person. My love?
I will just say that take in account the context. It's not just the content. Put the context there. So you are going to have the big picture.
Completely. Guys, we're not going to see you tomorrow and Friday. We wish you the best Thanksgiving. We give you enough ammunition this Thanksgiving to have a lot of talk on the table, difficult conversations for our hostage negotiator and the captain, the Texas Police Department. We talk about complicated, toxic conversations yesterday, and today to talk about myth. You can talk about those myths. We start seeing how people read you. My love, happy Thanksgiving for all of you. Thank you very much for being here. Monday, we're going to be back, and wait for it because we have a good one. Can we debunk the big nose myth? Maybe next one. Oh, we're going to be talking about noses and face reading. Thank you both. Have a great Thanksgiving. The part of eye accessing cue for dyslexia, going to go read up on that. Fascinating. Yeah. Dyslexia. I have dyslexia and Asperger, and Elva have dyslexia and the curse. They've been working together. But depending of how your brain is wired and any pathology you have, your eyes and your movement are different. People get pissed off with me because I talk said, okay, I'm gonna talk about this, and this, and this. And people are like, are you stupid? Like, no, I'm Asperger. I need to do this because you see how Sherlock Holmes does? Okay, let me go to my library. So I learned not to do this publicly, but in personal setting. Is like, okay, we're gonna talk about this, and people are like, where is she? Oh, she's here, she's remembering. So be careful how you tag people. And one of the reasons that I didn't want to do live and go doing this is because people is really judging without knowing, and it's hurt. So be careful why the bullshit you talk about other people online. Pay attention to your own umbilical cord, because I'm sure it's dirty.
Yes, everything has a story behind.
Love you, like always. Bye, guys. Hey, Ana Lucia, how you doing, Bob? Have a good one. Bye.